Hey, what's up, guys? So, just got done with the practice. I'm still kind of sweaty and sticky, but I didn't want to wait. I wanted to jump right on, So, just got done with a 60-minute flow practice, and jumping on here to go and answer some live questions. Wanted to do a lot of lives today, a lot of sharing today. Today is my birthday, turning 38, November 30th, 1982. Sagittarius and the year of the dog. Roof, roof. So, and it's a great day. It's a great day. Actually, and it's raining outside, so it's not like I want to be outside too much anyways. So I wanna be here to have some discussions with you guys, to go and answer any questions you guys might have about what I just shared. So for you guys that missed it, we just did a full 60-minute flow practice, and throughout the time I was sharing different things. We talked about the need to clean out our body, the need to go and get our lymphatic system moving, our lymphatic system, which is the system that is involved in clearing out all the toxins in our body. And by doing that, it cleans out our body. And then when our body is clean, we don't have any blockages. We don't have lack of blood circulation to certain parts of the body. We don't have toxins staying in the body and making us sick. We don't have things that are preventing our energy from flowing, and we need energy to be everywhere in the body. Without energy, we can't function. And so the lymphatic system is really important, and movement. We talked about that. We dived also into needing a change. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and people are there. They spend all of their time, looking at what good choices and how things should be, but they also need to go ahead and make sure that they are creating an inner change within themselves. If they don't do that, then they can't make any real changes on the outside, because they are the same state of being. They are the same person trying to make new choices. That doesn't work. So I want to dive into that and see here. Hello, Leo and JS. How can we think positive always? Okay, good. So how can we think positive always? So the way we think positive is a combination of our body and our mind. Okay, our body and our mind. So with our body, if we were to feel uncomfortable in our body, then that feeling, that means there's a certain low energy in our body. The vibration of energy inside of our body is really low. And when that happens, that influences our thoughts. Because if we look at our thoughts, just look at our thoughts like this, we can think good and we can think bad. We can look at it in a good way. Hey, this person's pretty awesome because of these 3 reasons. Or we can look at it in another way. This person is not a good person because of these 3 reasons. I can look at this phone and I go, this phone's an awesome phone because of these things. Or I can look at it the opposite. This is a crappy phone because of these things. But what determines which one I look at? What determines if I look at this phone? What determines whether or not I look at it in a positive way or a negative way? Because in reality, they both exist. You see, when we think about positive things, that's not because this person is only positive, not because this situation is only a good situation and it can't be bad. It's not true. Just look at life. Look at any situation. And you can't say that every single situation that you label as good doesn't have a negative side effect. That's impossible. Everything has all sides. But what determines the one that we are aware of and the one that we acknowledge, that depends on our energy. Okay. That depends on our energy. If we are vibrating at a high frequency, just look at energy as frequencies, waves. And if we're vibrating at a high frequency, then the way that we look at this, we will look at it with a positive viewpoint. But if we're vibrating at low frequency, we'll look at the same thing in a negative viewpoint, a fearful viewpoint. When we are having a high energy, the way we feel is expansive. But when we have a low energy, the way we feel is contractive. I don't want to talk to you. Oh, no, get away. Let me go and curl up and be in a ball. But when our frequency is high, hey, come here. We feel expansive. So we can look at it in the base of energy, or we can look at it in the base of feelings. Because they're all the same. It's not different things. It's all the same thing. Okay, so when I explain it this way, sometimes people go, oh, I get it because of energy frequency. And sometimes go, oh, I get it because of feelings, emotion. And someone goes, I get it because of its positive thoughts. But it's all the same thing. There's no difference. So that's on energy. So on feelings, when we feel light in our body, that's how we know that our energy frequency is high. We feel light. Like physically we feel light. Like we're light on our feet versus when we're heavy in our body. And we all know how that feels like. You know how it feels like to feel sluggish, right? It's like your legs are heavy, your body's heavy. You got to drag this thing around, but it's not like you gained a pound. It's not like you gained any weight. Your energy frequency changed. It changed. Maybe it changed because you just ate a lot of food. Maybe it changed because you sat down for a really long time. Maybe it changed because you just got some bad news and suddenly, something bad happened. And now your energy frequency changed. You got upset, you got worried, you got scared. And now when you get up, your body feels sluggish. It feels heavy. Or your body feels really light, like you have helium inside of you, like you're floating on clouds, like you just meet this awesome person and you feel like so good, feel so loving, like you have all this love inside and you feel light. You actually literally feel light. It's because the density changed in your body. The density of energy, the matter in our body, it changed because the energy changed. You see, we are made up, our body is made up of 99.9999969% energy, which means our body, this physical thing that we're all looking at, this physical laptop I'm tapping on, is made up of 0.0000001% matter. So if all this stuff that we're looking at is actually energy and it's not really matter, like matter is see-through. Matter is, it's like all energy in there. Then when we change energy, we are changing the majority of the matter. See? So when we change the energy in our body physically, literally, physically, energetically, chemically changes. Okay? So when that changes, that's how we become positive. This has nothing to do with having to see things, have to learn new information. Our thoughts automatically change. Okay? Now, if somebody was to go and change their thoughts, can they change matter with their thoughts? Yes, they can. They can also do the opposite. And I believe that both is necessary. It's not just about changing the energy in the body. It's not just about changing thoughts. It's about changing both and changing both simultaneously. Not like just one at a time, simultaneously, both of them. And the way that we do it is we do this practice, we do the flow training, and you change all the energy inside of you. Boom, you're feeling light, you're feeling open, your circulation is running, your toxins are released because your lymphatic system is going through the roof, boom, 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 pumping it all out, getting rid of everything. And at the same time, you're practicing a few different things. You're practicing on not judging yourself. You're practicing on not judging other people. You're practicing on not comparing or competing against other people. You're practicing on being okay with how things are. You're practicing on not grinding it out 100%, on just that 70%. You're practicing on focusing your mind, instilling your mind, total focus. You're focused on these type of things. You're focused on calmness. You're practicing calmness. When you're mad, you're not calm. When you're stressed, you're not calm. We practice calmness during the practice, doing it at the same time. And when we do that, we start to be able to cultivate this combination of developing our body, doing the things in our body, but at the same time, we start to develop our mind. And now, gel together, They're synced in together, doing the same thing. People that try to focus on just mind, but they're not doing anything to their body. So their body is toxic. They're not moving around enough. They're not cleaning up their diets. Their body is sick. But their mind is so smart and knows so much stuff. But yet when it's time to actually execute those things that they know is true, they can't do it. They know they need to be kind. They know they need to have patience. They know they need to not judge. They know they need to forgive. But when it's time and they're in a confrontation, they can't do it. They get mad. Why? But they know all this information, but because their body isn't aligned with what they know. Their body's energy, their energy hasn't changed. So they only have information, but their energy isn't matching that information. Information is a certain type of vibration. This information, let's say they have really high vibrational information, right? All this positive thinking, but their body is low in energy. Their body is in a negative state. And so this is the type of person that are constantly struggling, even though they know what to do, but they can't do it. Okay, you gotta align together. All right. So that's the question by JS on how we can think positive always. Okay, so good to see you, Brandon R. I can't sleep. Sorry about that, man. Hey, Mike, I'm a huge fan. Have done flow training for 10 days straight. Yes, Jojo. Good. All right. Okay. Awesome. So fix. Okay, so Jojo's got a question also. Happy birthday, Mike. My question, this has come from Jojo as ASMR. My question for the Q&A is, would you ever consider going vegan? As I know you're vegetarian, what are your thoughts on cholesterol, saturated fat in animal products? So here's my thoughts on it. Is my diet perfect? No. Can I eat better? Absolutely. There's a balance. If I was to go and eat perfect, which means I don't eat anything bad, would I go and be vegan? Yes. But not just like vegan. Okay, so first of all, vegan doesn't mean healthy. Okay. A lot of people go, I'm vegan, as in I'm healthy. No. Vegan just means you are not eating something that's by animal products. That's it. It has nothing to do with health. Okay. Nothing to do with health. That's like someone going, I bodybuild. Right. So that means you are building your muscles and burning fat or building a lot of muscle, doing those type of exercises. But it has nothing to do with health. It's the same idea. Okay. If I was to, that's why vegan is just a way of eating. Okay. If somebody wanted to go ahead and be healthy, they need to go and actually look at the specific things of what they're eating. They need to make sure the things that they're eating is digesting fast in their body. You know, does their body have the enzymes for it? Does their body like the food? And are they putting together right combinations of food? How much are they eating? You know? And so going back into what do I think about saturated fats and stuff in animal products? I think fats are fine. Saturated fats, I'll tell you the truth. I'm tuned into my body. You know how most people, they have to go and look at labels to decide if something is good for them. You know, I don't do that. I don't really do that. We only do that because we aren't connected to the body. So if we are always having to do that, that means we're always having to depend on somebody telling us if this is good. That's like imagine, and this actually is still happening, but for you guys that aren't happening, imagine if your parents would tell you, hey, go marry this person or go date this person because this person is good for you. And you don't know any better. So you go, okay. And then you just have to follow what they say. Imagine if that was to happen. Now, I know for some religions that is happening. That is how life is. But for me and for many others, that's not how it is. But imagine that. But for all of us, no, we know how we feel around somebody. We don't need somebody to tell us something, you know. We know, we can feel it. We know how we are around them, how we interact. But now when it comes to food, we have to go and look at a label and go, well, this says this, so it must be good for me, or this says this, so it must be bad for me. But why? Why don't we just go ahead and actually feel the body that we're in and go, and when we eat this, we can look at the labels, not that we just blindly, but we look at something and we take it in consideration. But that's not the ultimate decision for us to eat it or not eat it. You know, we actually feel into our body, and we let that be the deciding factor, the ultimate deciding factor. When we do that, now we are empowering ourselves. That's what people should do. And what does that take? All that really takes, by doing that, all that really takes is connecting to our body. That's it. All we do is connect to our body so we can increase the ability to be able to actually feel this body that we're in, this body that we're living in, this body that we interact with the world. We can actually feel it. And when we feel it, now we know if we eat something and it's good for us, because we can feel what it's doing in the body. If we eat some foods, like here's an example. When I was younger, I used to love spicy food. Man, I would just go super, super hot. I mean, I remember Tabasco was like ketchup, and ketchup was like just like nothing. Yeah, I mean, I would just go do crazy spice. I come up with the habaneros, all kinds of stuff. And I wasn't connected to my body. And I remember when I started pooping out blood, and I remember just thinking, you know, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, I think that's something to do with what I'm eating. But it had to hit me like that, you know. But if I was to just go and feel my stomach, I would have felt that it's burning, it doesn't feel good. But no, I couldn't feel very much. But yet I'm a bodybuilder. I was working out, I had muscles, and I was in shape. But that had nothing to do with connection to the body. So now when I eat a little bit of spicy food, I can handle a little bit, because when I know how it feels like to be calm and to be relaxed and feel like this ease in here. And when I eat spicy, I can feel this uncomfortableness start to rise right away inside. And that's not for anybody else. That's just for me. So if you guys eat it and it feels good, you know, it's fine. But that's the thing. See, if I go, hey, all spicy food is bad for you, don't do it. Well, that's not true, you know. Somebody can tell for themselves, but they got to be able to feel their body. So that's the most important thing. Once we connect to the body, we are able to start actually deciding what is good, because we can tell what is good and what is bad. We don't have to depend on machines and meters and doctors and checkups and all this stuff. I don't get checkups. I don't get checkups, you know. But that's also because I know how I feel. I know my body. So if somebody doesn't know, then go get the checkups. Okay, go get it. Don't just go get it. But as you start to develop it, you start to connect, and you start to understand your body that you live in, you'll need less and less of dependency on everything else. You know, you become self-efficient. This is what empowerment means to me, you know. So it's a great question, man. Yes. Fasting. Okay, and wait. Cayman Road. I love meat. I can't go vegan. You know, I used to love meat too. You know, I used to love meat. You know, it's a choice that we make. It's when we take control of what we want, and we don't let our bodies choose. You know, we choose. You choose. You know, so if you want to go vegan, go vegan. If you don't want it, don't want it. You know, there's no right or wrong. But when we make a decision, we don't let our bodies choose. We don't let the voice in our head or anybody else around. We stick to it and we go for it. It doesn't matter if we're uncomfortable. You're not supposed to be comfortable when we're making changes, you know, right? You're supposed to deal with it. You know, deal with it the best you can, but that's part of making a change. That's part of empowerment, you know, the ability to be able to do what you want to do, not what your body is feeling like. Okay, very important, because you are not your body, you're not your mind. You are the consciousness, the soul, the spirit. You are the awareness that's observing everything, but you are not that. So don't let your body control you. Okay, very important. You connect to your body so you can feel your body. You know what your body's saying, just like you connect to your thoughts and you can hear your thoughts, but you don't let neither one of them control you. Eric King, do you think anger can be positive sometimes? No, it cannot. It cannot be positive sometimes. Okay, when you're angry, you can only create more fear, more anger, more sadness. You know, but if somebody is angry, like if, for example, if someone goes like, well, you know, somebody just did something to your, let's say I had a child and somebody's hurting my child right now. So someone goes, oh, I'm gonna be really angry and I'm gonna kick his ass. It's like, okay, well, does that mean are you a better fighter when you're angry? Because if you go and watch, listen to coaches and you listen and you watch, if you know anything about fighting, they don't tell you to get angry. They tell you the opposite. No, don't get angry. Stay focused so you know what the heck you're doing. You're not just right? So even in that case, somebody's hurting my child. What do? Don't get angry and go stop him. You know, that has nothing to do with anger. You see, there's actions that we need to take, but anytime when we're angry, anytime when we are emotional, these low emotions, it stops our action. It stops our clarity for taking clear and decisive action. It stops our awareness. When we take action, we want to be aware of our surroundings. We want to be aware of the circumstances, aware of our effects, aware of all the stuff, but it stops our awareness. Our awareness shrinks down, and all we can see is through a small little straw, a little tunnel. We lose sight of things around. So that's why when we let go of anger, we let go of all these things, we still take the action that we need to take, but we do it with full, expansive awareness. So now we're aware of everything. Our actions, our decisions, everything we do is amplified, you know? And also, when we need to generate a lot of energy, we can generate a lot of precise power. If you want to go, if somebody wants to direct a lot of energy, they don't need to get mad to direct a lot of energy. People that do that just because they're not connected to the energy. When we stay very calm, now we're connected, and when we do have energy, boom, it explodes out. It explodes out in words, explodes out in expression, explodes out in a physical movement. It doesn't have to, but when we're angry, we can't direct anything. We don't have any connection to our energy. So it just randomly comes out chaotically. We can't direct it, you know? So, but it's not about perfection. So when we get angry, we get angry. It is what it is. You know, it happens, and then we let go of it. And the idea that the key is to let go of it quickly. You know, don't let it prolong. Because every time when you make this, if you're angry and you stay angry for a whole day, then all of your decision, all the way you saw everything, the way you interact with other people, it's all with anger. And, you know, we try to hide it. So inside we're angry, and then, hey, yeah, I'm okay. Inside we just we're boiling it down, but it's still influencing our work, it's still influencing everything. So let go of it as quickly as possible. Okay. Flow practice helps you do that, because the tools that we do, those 44 moves, I do those moves throughout the day. Anytime when I need to let go of something, I have too much tension, I just drop in, I do one of the moves. And there's so many moves, and they're different for different things. You know, and I got my go-to. And people that train in this, you know, they have their go-to moves, their sequences. You know, it could be like one move, it could be just a couple minutes. They do these things, and they felt that those things help them, because sometimes everybody gets tension in different places. Common areas like, you know, here behind the neck, you know, lower back. You know, sometimes they get tense, really tense in their stomach. There's different areas that people get tense. There's different areas that we hold the emotions, and so there's different moves that we can do to help clear it. And once we start to recognize where the tensions are happening, because that's what happens when we get mad. That's what happens when we get angry, when we get stressed, is we start to tense up. The energy gets stuck in certain areas of our body. And so when we start to become familiar with those things, we clear it, but we use certain moves to clear it. Okay, so going through some of the questions here. All right, trying to meatballs. Came in, so we all have Super Saiyan potential. Yes, actually, that is true. We all have Super Saiyan potential. Like for the real, yeah. Okay, would you contribute your newfound beliefs to moving? This is a good question. Raw RSS. Would you attribute your newfound beliefs, flow, yoga, positivity, etc., to moving to a different part of the world? Would you have found this new you back in the U.S.? So, yes, actually, I found this new me in the U.S. You know, it wasn't because I was here. I discovered all of this when I was in the U.S. I was living in Austin, you know, and when I went to Utah for this event, you know, I shared this a lot before. I won't share the whole thing. It's a long story. I'll give the really super condensed version. I went to Utah and I had an experience where I opened up the energy and I realized all these stories in my head and all this limited belief stuff. And then I returned back to Austin. And then once I started to go and I started to make the changes there. And I started making changes in every aspect of my life, everything. And one of the changes was I want to start seeing the world. I want to get out of this bubble. You know, it's a beautiful bubble, and I've lived in this bubble called America for a long time. But it's time to go and see how other people live. It's time to expand my knowledge and expand my experience of life. And so that's why I moved. You know, so. Yeah, but yes, you can do it in the US, you can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere in the world, you know. But what's important is that when you are looking to make this change, where you're looking to go and lift yourself up and get yourself to be empowered and move the negative energy, you want to look around you and see who around you is not going to support that. Who around you is going to try to hold you back and pull you down. Don't blame them. Okay, don't blame them. It's not their fault. They don't know any better. They're not going, I'm going to hurt you because I don't like you. No, they're your friends. They're your family. Sometimes it's like that. A lot of times it's like that. But they haven't experienced a need to change. And maybe you have. And if you have, then you need to distance yourself and you need to connect yourself with other people that are wanting to make this change. You connect to other people that have made the change, that are moving on in their life, going further. Learn and connect to them. So this way, this will support you. That is important because it doesn't matter if you don't do that, then you can move to another country and you'll end up finding yourself, surrounding yourself with people that were the same in the other country, your old type of friends, your old type of crew. You'll find yourself around them again. You're like, I thought I moved away from all that and now I found myself again. It's because you end up attracting all of them. You attract it because your choices and your decisions that you made, that you're making constantly, is still from the same person. You see, if you want to make a change, you have to change inside here and then the outside changes. So that's why it has nothing to do with moving. Okay. Sometimes moving does help. It does help because let's say somebody can't disconnect from all of these people around. Here, put on a sec here. It's so sticky here. I'm gonna put on one of my favorite shirts here. Love the shirt. Then I'll finish this thought here. All right, here you go. The guy that used to work with me, Johnny, gave me this shirt. Love it. It's like one of those comfortable shirts. Comfortable, fits well. Love the color. Okay. So it has nothing to do with where you live. Okay. It has to do with changing inside. And the only time when you find yourself needing to move, as sometimes people do, it's only because you need to change the surroundings. You need to change the people around you, and you can't seem to get away. Sometimes it happens like that. You try to get away, but they'll find you in the same town, the same city, depending on your situations. You know, everybody's situation is a little different. So only when you have, the way I would do it is go with go with the easiest to implement, because it's not easy to go and just get up and just move to another country. I mean, there's some preparation, especially right now. There's some preparation. So make the changes that can happen immediately, super fast. The faster you can do it, the better. Because when you're in that state to want to make a change, you're motivated, you're inspired, whatever that trigger of inspiration could be. Maybe it's whatever I'm saying here, or maybe it's from talking to somebody or watching a thing, whatever it is, you're inspired. But that energy of inspiration doesn't last forever. We all know that. I wish I could feel super inspired and motivated all the time, but it comes and it goes. And so the time that it comes, you want to go and start making some changes then. Do it right then at that point. Start to make decisions and make your choices. Okay, whoa, I need to make this change and do this. What should I do? Make the decisions, realize why you're making the decisions, and make it happen right then and there. If it means, you know what, man, I need to make a change. I need to get away from these, from certain people and certain groups. I need to stop going out every single Saturday and Friday night to these same places, getting hammered around the same people, just wasting my life away. No, I'm going to start doing something different. I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to stop that now. And we make that decision right then and there. And you decide on doing it. And you decide on what you're going to do. And you make these decisions. You make the changes when you're elevated, when you're feeling great. And you do stuff like that that's like really quick, really fast implementations. Okay, really, really important. So this way you're actually able to make it happen. If not, it's going to take longer. Okay. I know a lot of people that's like, I really want to do it, but I can't do anything right now. So next year and 7 months from now, I'm going to do it. No, it's not going to happen. The chances are so slim. It's not going to happen. Do the change now. There's always something that we can do right now. So, all right. Cayman's talking about this ad I made back in the eating days. Okay. What's the common link, JS? What's the common link between successful people like actors, sports players, businessmen, and politics? Not sure. I mean, they're all humans. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're getting at that one. If you want to clarify more in the comments. Yeah, Leo G just shared 100%. I've always wondered why I was always distant from my family, but I believe I want to protect my energy and positive vibe, and I've come to realize it's not their fault. Yeah, and now with social media, we've got ways to go and still communicate with them. And the thing is, you can also we can love the people, we can love them without having to spend a lot of time with them. We can love them and just know it's not like I'm not going to talk to you forever, hang out with you forever. People do change. We change and they change, and it's always kind of happening. So the way I like to look at it, especially for people that we've known for a long time, is right now at this time, I'm going this direction. And if you're going straight and I'm going this direction, okay. Maybe later on we cross roads somewhere else again, that we start spending more time. That's kind of how life is, and it's okay. So don't see it like it's a forever thing. It's a right now thing. That's now thing. Who knows how long it could be. So this way, especially with old friends and families. So it's not that we're cutting ties forever. We can still love them. We can still say hello. We can still once in a while come hang out with them, especially if we know they're living a little differently. Sometimes you do that and you'll find we share the things with them. They're not quite open. They hear what it is that we're saying. We tell them, hey, start to look into this, look into that, because we can see that they're running into a lot of troubles. And it's very obvious to us on the outside looking in what they need to do, but they haven't quite seen it to be something that they can change. They don't see it as something that they're doing. Their fault. You know how those type of people are, the blamers. And so sometimes, we help them see things, and we just kind of meet up with them once in a while. You help them see things for a little bit. You share a couple of viewpoints. You can share a couple of stories, and then afterwards, it's like planting a little seed, and then we give it time for it to grow. Then you may see them again in 6 months from now, and suddenly you realize they started listening to a certain person or started doing something, and now they're starting to change. So it's like, all right, this happens a lot. That's the cool thing about it. That's why when we separate from people that we really care about, our close friends or maybe our family, don't look at it as forever. Just look at it as right now, this is the way it is. And we'll just let it be. Let us see how it evolves in the future. Alexandra, hi, Mike. I'm an old viewer from your old channel. I'm happy that you are doing well. Kudos from Ecuador. All right. Good seeing you. Alejandro. Okay. Saj, I can't pronounce this one. Saj Tinsnit. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing. Sir, have you got any tips on stretching for someone with scoliosis, especially the traps? So I'm not really good with specific medical challenges and stuff. But what I can tell you is this though. If you do this practice, when you're stretching, stretch to where you can stretch. You're gonna find more limitations. You're gonna find you're facing limitations more than somebody else who doesn't have it. It's just how it is. But it's okay. Okay. The biggest struggle that I see is not that somebody has a certain challenge of some sort. For you, it's scoliosis. For somebody else, it's something else. That's not the thing. The thing is that they are having expectations that they can't reach. They expect themselves to gain faster as somebody who is super healthy and doesn't have that issue, doesn't have that challenge. But that's the thing. When we put these expectations and we compare ourselves to other people, doing that actually stops us from the most simple things, which is just to do it. How do you stretch out your traps? You can stretch your neck onto the side. You can do hops. You can do hops like that. You can go and come down, do like a forward fold, like a forward fold here. A forward fold here, you do this, and doing this helps lengthen and stretch out. Anything that basically extends your arms out, So the stretches that we do, this will stretch out your traps. This will stretch out your traps, tapping on your traps. Loosening up your neck muscles stretches out your traps. The practice here hits all of that. So for you, it's actually doing it and not comparing yourself and not creating this big expectation, and just do it. Because if you do it, it doesn't matter what challenges you're facing. If you do it and you do it with full belief, and you do it every single day and you're consistent with it, and you don't push yourself like crazy, you're not trying to prove something to anybody. You're simply just doing it. You simply just do it. Study the rules that I talk about. 70%. Do it to 70%. Don't max out at 100. Stay calm when you're doing it. You're not like trying to crank your body around. But you follow these principles and you'll progress. And I want to share a story with you. My mom, she's 72 now, 72 years old. A few years ago, three and a half years ago, almost 4. I went over there, I went to visit her, and she was like bent all the way down. She was walking like this. She was in a wheelchair, like not wheelchair, one of those walkers. And she answered the door like this. Oh, hi, Mike, come in. And I was like, oh my God, it got that bad. She had knee surgery like 13 years ago or something like that, and she never rehabbed it and never got any better. And it just got worse and worse and worse because she couldn't walk. And then eventually she's compensating using the other leg. And then she ended up fracturing the hip on the other leg. It's just like this whole chain of issues, and just kept going, more issues and more issues. So now fast forward, I get a call from my sister, and she tells me, Mom's in the hospital. She fell. And I was like, oh, I was like, damn, all right, what happened? So she's like, well, she ate something funny. She got little food poison. And so she was scared to eat. So she didn't eat anything for like 2 days. And then one day when she was about to go head out the door to go see a doctor, just to go get a regular checkup, she decides she needs to use the restroom real quick. She comes into the house, she goes into the restroom, and then she uses the restroom. She gets up too fast from the toilet, gets lightheaded, falls over into the bathtub, and can't get out of the bathtub. She's halfway out of the bathtub, halfway in the bathtub, like kind of just like hanging on that edge, and she's stuck, and her body's too weak for her to get up. So she's screaming for help, but nobody's around. She just got one of those little press buttons, for seniors. So she's stuck there for like 4 hours until her husband, Bob, comes home and walks into the restroom, and she's just there, agony and pain. And he's like, oh, actually, no, she wasn't even doing anything. She was just laying there. No, there was no sounds. I remember because he told me when I had the conversation, he's like, oh my God, Mike, I thought she was dead. Like, I thought she died, and she's just hanging there. And then when he came and checked up on her, found out she was alive, and he couldn't lift her up. So now fast forward, she gets into the hospital, they take care of her and all this stuff. And so we found out she can't go back into the house by herself, just as it is. Like, they couldn't release it because this could happen again. So they sent her, she needed to go into a home, to like a nursing home. She can get rehab, she can do all this. Well, she did the rehab, but they said, no, she's not safe by herself. She can't even, she just falls over. And so she had to go to a home. And that's when she freaked out, because before she's just chilling at her house, but now she realized, I can't go back to my house. Like, I have to go to this nursing home in front of all these strangers and people are taking care of me. No. Because I've been trying to get her to exercise forever, for so long. She wouldn't do it. So then me and my sister and my girlfriend at the time and her mother, we devised a plan. We're like, all right, we're gonna help her. What do we need to do? We realize we just need her to train. We just need her to exercise, train. We need to pull her out of this environment. She sits in front of the TV like 8 hours a day, melting into the couch, So we get her to go to South Carolina, and she trains, and get her to go over there. And so there was like a lot of us, like 5, 6 of us. And I was there for 3 weeks, and for 3 whole weeks, we trained. We worked out every day. We trained our butt off. We were all like cheerleaders, like literally all of us were like cheerleaders. Oh, great, Mom, great, Cindy. Her name is Cindy. It's like, oh, good job. Like all of us, right? Took that much. When she was going there, she was using a walker, with like the tennis balls in the front, and she has these special therapeutic shoes, that they take an imprint of your feet, and then you take it and you send it in. Costs like $400 or something like that. So she walks in like that. And so the moment we get over there in South Carolina, I was like, hey, Mom, you don't need this walker anymore. Take it away. Well, I don't know. I need it. No, you don't need it. It's fine. Come on, I'll help you. You can hold my hand. She never needed it. You should see, here's the way that she uses the walker. I mean, let me demonstrate. This is how she used can you see me? This is how she used the walker. She just holds on to it because she's afraid. So every time I'm with her and I'm like looking at her, I'm like, you don't need a walker. She's like, oh, I need it. She's not even. It's like she's not even needing it. So we get there. I take the walker. I'm like, it's fine. You don't need it. No, come on, I got you. And I just brush it off, So then we get her a gym membership, and we get her working out and get her walking laps around this track. And in the beginning, she was walking so slow, like just, no walker. She holds my hand, and she was walking like really slow. We're just kind of chatting, hanging out, walking. 3 weeks, and we're training. We're training with cables, whatever exercise. I look at, I tell her to do this, and she doesn't. She can't do it, and I modify. So fast forward 3 weeks. Oh, one more thing. And I take her on the beach, And so she can't wear those shoes on the beach. So she walks on the beach, in sand. And she's like grabbing on a boat on me on one end and my friend Josh on the other end, and walking on the beach. And, we get into the water a little bit, the water rushes onto her feet. And then, how the water pulls away and then your feet kind of goes into the sand. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. No, it's okay. I got you. Just getting her to experience that. I don't know how many years she's experienced water on her feet like that. So now fast forward 3 weeks later, she's in the gym. She's almost jogging, like a very fast power walk. We're doing 10 laps a day, like a big track, indoor track in this gym. I think it was like the YMCA in Conway, South Carolina. I think it's Conway. 10 laps a day we were doing. So I remember because I was jogging next to her. I was jogging slow, but I'm still able to jog. And I was like, Mom, any faster and you'll be jogging. She was going so fast. She's just like this and walking, and she was so happy. 10 laps a day. And after those 10 laps, she'd do her squats. I give her like a bench. So she does her squats, she does her rolls, she does all dumbbells, curl and press, all this stuff every single day, and then after that, she goes home, she chills, and then she walks. We had this whole routine down, right? Every day for 3 weeks. It's amazing. And she's like, at the time, she's like 68, and she's not like she's like, body is totally just broken down 68-year-old to just vibrant and just, She lost like 2.5 inches in her waistline. Her complexion change, her skin change. It's just like night and day difference, And then I leave. I'm like, okay, I was supposed to be there for 3 days. I had other things to go, places, other things to do. But then 3 days in, I realized I need to be here longer. Nobody knows what they're doing. All right. So then I end up running this whole little thing for 3 weeks, get her to that level. And I'm like, okay, guys, I got to go. I'll be back in like another 4 weeks, like a month, to go and pick her up and take her back home to Houston. And so I leave and I come back. And then I see her. I'm like, okay, hey, I see her walking and I can tell right away. I was like, how's your workouts been? Oh yeah, I've been doing good. And I've been calling her also. She tells me she's doing it. So I see her when I go and pick her up. Her walking is like now half the speed. And I'm like, what happened? Oh, no, we were doing this. We were really. I'm like, uh-huh. And then I found out, she's half-assed half the stuff. She doesn't do that many laps. Oh, well, I don't do that many laps because I didn't think it's necessary. I'm like, no, it is necessary. So anyways, now fast forward, she goes back home, and 3 months later, I see her. She's back on the walker, walking slow. Hi, Mike. And I remember inside I was just, just breathe, relax, let it go. It's your mom. Just love her the way she is. It's okay. Hey, Mom, And it's like, there's just like this sense of, I don't know the feeling, the word. There's a sense of sadness, but a sense of like almost like a sense of hopelessness. But then I let go of it, and then I looked at her, because at first I was looking at her as this hopeless person, and then I let go of it, and I looked at her, and I go, no, she's a human being that's responsible for herself, and I can do everything that I can do, but it doesn't matter, She's ultimately going to choose what she does. So I just love her the way she is, And this was like over 4 years ago. And so the point of the story I want to make, I refer back to the question is, our bodies are amazing. It has the capability to change. What it needs is for us to do the work, and to be consistent at it. If you go online, I'm sure most of you guys may have seen, you see people share these extraordinary miracle stories, person who broke his back or lost the functioning legs, never going to walk again. Doctor said there's no hope, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then suddenly you see this person, trying to walk. And then later on, the person is walking and jogging. Oh my God, transformation. There's so many stories. The fact is, there is no special magical way of how to recover. We simply just do the best we can and we just keep going and we keep going. And the only thing that we need to remember is that we do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes and just keep going and to do it every day, every single day, you know. So everybody can do it. Yeah, so it's been I don't think I ever shared that story, but it's helped me, you know, it really helped me with learning how to accept people, you know. For you guys that are you know, in your 30s and 40s and 50s and so on, and you know how it is. Your parents are getting older, and some of us are very lucky. We got parents that know how to take care of themselves, and you got some that are not the case, you know. But we learn to love people the way they are. Okay. All right, we'll go through some more questions here. I just sorry if it's maybe change my. Susan Ralph asked 2 questions. How do you feel about secret oath takers? I'm not sure exactly what secret oath takers are. If I was just to decipher that question, I would say like people that are secretly committing to themselves of something, you know. I don't know if it's like some type of thing, you know. How do you feel about control freaks? So people that are in control, they're basically just afraid. That's really what it is. You know, people are afraid, so they have to control everything. But the less fear that we have, the less we control, the less we care about the outcome of things. When we're very fearful, we have to control everything because we're afraid of, we don't trust that people will do the right things. We don't trust the goodness in people. We don't even trust ourselves. But the less fear that we have, the more free we are. And the more free we let everybody else be. You know, so control freaks are just people that are afraid. They just need to learn how to trust themselves. They need to learn how to let go. They need so many things to happen their way. If it doesn't happen their way, they get upset, they get afraid, they think of worst case scenarios and all this stuff. And so therefore, in their mind, they're thinking, I have to control it. It's not a choice. I have to, you know, and it's just not the case. When we let go of that fear, we let go of that fear in the body, we let go of that fear in our mind, we don't control things as much. We do the minimum amount of control because control takes time, it takes energy, and nobody wants to be controlled. Nothing wants to be controlled. Everything wants to be free. And so the nature of control is just a contradicting thing, you know. So that's my thoughts on that. So Damian knows, isn't that different from feeling your body? If your body feels to eat meat, but you heard that veganism is good. Your body will feel something, will feel like it wants to do this and wants to do this. That has nothing to do with what you actually need to do. You're aware of it, but you also need to decide. Here's why. Your body is like, it's like your mind. It started off as a clean slate, and then you conditioned your body. You condition your body to feel a certain way. Let's say you condition your body to eat a certain food. You know, kids that eat a lot of sugar when they're younger, they have sugar craving and sugar addictions growing up. You know, because they conditioned their body to demand for it. They condition their body to want the sugar, and the sugar creates this positive idea and thought in their head. And so you got this connection there in the body. So it's all conditioning. So when we are trying to change something in our body, instead of listening to our body going, my body likes this and my body doesn't like this, we decide between, number one, what we actually want to do. What we want to do and what actually is good. So there's a nice balance. You know, earlier I was talking about labels and things like that. So when we start to learn that certain foods are good, not by just the label. That's just marketing, like really learning, deeply learning on what foods are good. Now these type of foods are good, these type of foods are good for me. Okay. So now I start to eat it, and then I can start to decipher on how it feels in my body. There's a whole bunch of foods that's good, but not all of it might be right for me. If we are listening to our body, and like, let's say you're talking about like meat versus like veganism, you know, if you are eating meat, another thing to look at is, and this is something that was personal to me, you know, are you okay? Does it feel right for you to eat other animals? Like, does it feel right that the animals have to go through what they did, to provide the meat for you? Like, does that feel okay? Now, if in your mind you go, well, no, it doesn't feel okay. I know how they're treated. I know how it is. And I watch the videos and learn about the slaughterhouses. I know animals have feelings. I know that when they die, they're in tremendous amount of pain. They release all this fear chemicals into their bodies. I'm adjusting it. I know the frequency of this meat is very low because there's tons of pain and fear in it. Let's say you know all this stuff, but your body, your taste buds like it. If that's the case, then you can change it and just look at your body as your body is conditioned. It's used to eating this meat, but you know that you are not wanting to do it anymore. So you just give it time. You just give it time, but you can do it. I used to eat meat like crazy. I ate more meat than the average person by a landslide. I used to go into the grocery store. Here's another story time. I used to go to the grocery store, and I remember my ex-girlfriends would be so embarrassed. They don't like to shop with me. So I'd go in the grocery store, and I would fill up my shopping cart with chicken breasts and meats, like a whole mountain, not just like to the brim of the shopping carts. The shopping carts are like piling, like it's gonna fall out. Because I would clear up all that they have. There's deep, huge freezers in some grocery stores. I would clear up and buy all of it. Because I would go beforehand. I had this whole system. I used to even teach people how to do this. I'd get the ads every single week. I lay it out in front of me on the table, and I would circle all the deals of the price per pounds, all the low price per pounds. And I knew all the price per pounds of meat back in the day. I don't know now if it's the same price. For example, $2.99 a pound. $2.99 a pound for chicken breast is like average. $3.99 is like, well, $2.99 is not average. Sorry, $2.99 is low. $3.99 is about average. $4.99 is too expensive. Anything above that's too expensive. But if you find something under $2.99, like $1.99 a pound for chicken breast, it's like you buy everything. And if you find something even lower than that, that's a no-brainer. I mean, just go for it. So I would look at the deals on all the meats, from ribeyes, all the meats that I like. And I can go on and on. I got a lot of meat stories, all kinds of stuff. I'll buy all this meat, then I'll take it home and I'll put it into these deep freezers and stuff. So I ate a lot of meat, so much meat. And then later on, when I would started catering meals into my office, back when I had six-pack shortcut days, I would just eat. I mean, there were days where I just ate steak every day for like a month, every single day, every single meal. Because we get all kinds of meals catered to us. I was spending like 20 grand a month, on just food for everybody. We had like 60 something people in our office, and we fed everybody. Eat as much as you want. There was no limit. So you got these big dudes. I mean, people are putting down 2 meals at a time, and they're eating 4 or 5 times a day. We took care of people in that way. So I ate so much meat. And so for me to stop eating meat was a very, very, very big challenge. It took me like a year and a half to stop, from the day that I decided I'm going to stop. And a year and a half later is when I actually did. And when I stopped, just so you know, I went pescatarian. I started only eating fish. But it took me a year and a half to stop eating chicken, stop eating pork, stop eating beef, shrimp. But most time it was chicken and beef and sometimes pork. It took that long. But you got to have the reason to do it. You got to have the reason. And for me, it was watching. I remember I was watching that movie Noah, with Russell Crowe. And I remember seeing how people were in that movie, how people act when they're in so much fear, and just the lack of humaneness. Like there was a scene in the movie to where like the world is ending and everybody's freaking out, and they're trading, like they're starting to eat people. They're eating animals just by like tearing them up and cutting them and tearing them up, and like pieces of animals flying all over the place. I mean, it was just like, it's some brutal, gruesome stuff. And I remember watching it, and it's just like, oh man, I just felt like I'm like, when I'm like grabbing into the meat and like all this stuff, and I have like this craving for it, like I'm like that, just on a civilized manner. But I'm no better than these characters that are being illustrated in the movie. And that's what really hit me. I was like, no. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop. Because at that time I cut down, but I couldn't stop. And so then I stopped. I put my foot down and I stopped, And then that's when I was eating fish. And then the fish took another year before I was like, you know what? I'm okay with fish. And then I just became vegan for a while. And then I'll eat some eggs, and then I'll stop eating eggs, and now I'm eating eggs. But my point is, you can do it, and you don't have to listen to your body. Your body is conditioned to certain things, but you can decide. And by me not eating those meats now, it feels very aligned. Like there's a certain power that got unlocked inside of me. That power of, I decided on it, and I stuck to my truth. I stuck to my power. I stuck to what it is that I felt was right. I want to practice. I practice nonviolence the best that I can, but I am not close to perfect at it. Every time when I'm stepping around, I don't know if there's bugs under me. I'm probably killing plenty of things. And I kill mosquitoes all the time, slapping them and stuff. They bite the heck out of me. But I still practice doing my best. There's tons of snails growing out. They come out every night. And every time they're like on the steps or everywhere, I pick them up and I put them off this side. I pick them up because if not, somebody could crunch over them. Like big snails, like this big, huge snails, some big, like huge, and some are just average like that, So I do my best to practice it. And when I'm aligned and I actually do what it is that I know is true, it feels good. It gives me this sense of power, this sense of self-belief. And that goes a long way, So you can do it. You really can do it. Okay, and I'm not going much into fitness, but I'll answer a really quick one. Islam asked, hi Mike, no matter what I eat and no matter how much I work out, I can't gain any weight. Any advice? Eat more. Eat more and work out more. This is a very common, I've been seeing this type of question for over a decade, and it's always the same. When I dive in, when I actually sit down and have calls or really find out what this person is doing, what I find is those two things. The person's not working out enough. When they're working out, the workouts that they're doing is not putting on a real muscle. It's like you gotta do your free weights, you gotta do your compound movements, you gotta do your deadlifts, you gotta do your squats. If you want to put on size, you don't just stick. I mean, yes, you can do calisthenics, but you'll probably gain more size using weights, or at least faster. But you gotta do the movements that are putting on the size, and you gotta eat more. Just like earlier, your body will say that I'm full, but you will decide that you want to eat more, and so you have to eat more. Okay. You have to eat more. You have to eat denser foods. Somebody's like, I do eat a lot. Well, how often do you eat a lot? Once, two times a day. Okay, well then do 3. That's not enough. I'm not gaining weight. Then do 4. I'm not gaining weight. Then do 5. At some point, your body is going to not be able to burn off anymore. And you're going to start to hold on meat. You're going to start to create mass onto your body. I was eating 9 times a day, and I can gain size easy. Now I'm still eating 9 times a day before. Okay. So by 11 o'clock, I already put down 3 meals. So you can do it. You just got to do more of it. You got to do more. That's where that mentality comes in, whatever it takes. When you build that mentality, nothing will stop you. Okay. So just go and just do that. Nice. Peter Abbott. Oh, he's sending a message to Michael. As a former alcoholic, I just one day had enough. I said, fuck it. I'm not going to drink anymore. That worked for me. But the decision was ironclad. You must decide 100% though, all in. That's a good one. That's a good one, man. You got to decide. You got to make this commitment to yourself. That was the same like me. You know, I've been drinking since I was 14. You know, and I was like I was like, man, I used to put it down. And then one day I decided, no, this is it. I'm stopping. And it was because sometimes people stop for different reasons. You know, most of the time it's some type of event, something happened that get them to stop. Once in a while, it's just something in the mind that's like, we realize that we've been wanting to stop for a long time, but we haven't, and then we just make the decision, you know. But for me, it was an event where I was really, really drunk in my friend's wedding. And after that, I saw a quick clip. I saw like a 5-second clip of how drunk I was and how much of an ass I made. But not just that about myself, just how I totally was just bad, just not good. You don't do that type of stuff in a person's wedding, not somebody you actually even care about too. And I realized, no, that is enough. And I stopped, you know. And since then, I don't drink much. Let's say it like that, you know. I have maybe one drink every 4 months, 5 months. And I've been buzzed maybe 6 times in 8 years, I think, just buzzed, you know. But yeah, you gotta commit. And that's the thing, is like we have to practice committing. We have to practice being able to be in our power. But how do you do that? You know, how does people do that? They gotta get connected to themselves. You gotta get centered. You gotta connect to yourself. If not, our mind is constantly all over the place and we're not able to bring our attention. Our attention is our power. Okay? Your attention, your awareness, your consciousness is your power, because that is where your energy goes. If you are thinking about something, then all your power is manifesting this thought and bring this thought into reality. If you're looking at something, then your energy is going at the thing that you're looking at. Your attention is your power. And if our attention is all over the place, then that means our power is scattered. And now we don't have the strength to decide. We don't have the strength to commit. We don't have the strength to commit to what we want. We have to bring our attention back. We have to slow down all the distractions, bring our attention back. And then once our attention is back, then with this power that we have called our attention, our consciousness, our awareness, then we go, what do I want to do? I want to stop this thing. How do I stop this thing? Things are, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. Hey, do you want to go? How do I stop this thing? You see, we've got, then we figure out, here's what I need to do, here's what I need to do, here's what I need to do. Okay, right? Nothing, and we focus on that. That's power, that's inner power. Because now whatever this thing is, whatever we want to do, we can do it. But we can't do that if our attention's all over the place and we're floating around, you know. The way that you do that is you have to learn how to bring your attention. You have to learn how to focus. The basis of meditation is to practice focusing, practicing controlling our ability to direct our attention. The deepness of meditation is when we direct our attention into our own attention. You know, like if I look at this camera, my attention is here, right? So now, if I keep looking at it, eventually I'm not thinking about the camera anymore, and I can be aware, and my awareness can start to expand, and I can start to be aware of my attention of everything and not the everything itself. Let me explain that a little bit more. Okay. When you're looking at something, at first you can look at and you can focus on the things that you're looking at, like specific things like this camera and the door behind me and the light and all this stuff. But eventually, you start to become aware of your awareness and not of the things that you're aware of. So when you start to do that, now things are happening around you. This is with your eyes open. Things are happening around you, but you're aware of yourself. Now you're aware, you can direct your attention into your thoughts. You can direct your attention to things that are around you isn't in control of your attention. But you have to practice this. In the beginning, if you don't practice this, you can't do this. You know, meditation helps you practice this. But what helps you with meditation? Because meditation, you sit there and you can't meditate. Your mind is racing. How do you meditate longer? You know, you got to relax your body. How do you relax your body? You got to go and remove the tension. You got to express the energy out. How do you do that? Well, shake the body out. Go and do light exercises, or go and work out. Go and stretch. And now your body's relaxed. And now your body's relaxed. Your energy is more calm. Now your attention can be directed. If your energy is not calm, then you're not able to bring your attention to connect to your energy and connect to your consciousness, connect to your awareness. You know, because your awareness is all over the place and you can't connect to it. You can't follow it. You know. Okay. Maybe you have carbs. Hi, dietitian here. Okay, make sure you eat healthy carbs like sweet potatoes, beans, combined with, okay. So he's, so Peter Rabbit, good. Yes, Peter Rabbit was answering to Islam about that, the question earlier about the weight gain. Yeah, eating more healthier carbs, sweet potatoes and beans. Yes, good one. Okay. Ali, here's off topic, but how do I get out of my 9 to 5? I am 25 years old, single male with no kids, making 50K at a hospital, and I am drained and depressed, and I want out. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being in these hospitals. I can't even imagine how it's like to be in there. I talked to somebody before, man, they're talking about the conditions, you know, like these guys are wearing like spacesuits, you know, I don't know what hospital, what type of position you're in. The person I was speaking to, I mean, they had to wear like 3 masks. Oh my God, you know, and then these full zip out suits, diapers. So, I mean, this was like a little while back, so I have no idea, you know, but it's, yeah, so I feel you, it's gotta be tough. How do you get out? Well, you gotta find another way to support yourself. You know, I mean, you gotta go and reduce down your bills, you know, reduce down your living, you know, find ways to go ahead and reduce everything and make a plan to get out. Sometimes these plans take a little while, you know, but you gotta make a plan so you can get out. And also another thing is like, let me see, and you feel drained and depressed. So you need to change that drained and depressed as you're making a plan to get out. Because your real thing is the hospital and the work that you're in that's causing this. But you can do something about it immediately. Let's say it may take you, I'm just gonna say, let's say it takes you 3 months to get out because you gotta find another job. You know, you're 25 years old, you have no children, you're making 50K at a hospital, so you sound like you're probably pretty smart. You're talented enough, you can get another job somewhere. You know, it took having to have some good skill sets to be able to work there. You can get a job somewhere else. Maybe you take a small pay cut. Maybe it's a big pay cut, but you cut down your expenses, and then this big pay cut will eventually grow. You'll eventually be able to grow and make more money. But in the meantime, so you got to plan. You got to make your plans on that. But you got to take action. You got to decide, like what we're talking about. You got to decide that you want to do it. You know, and also to take care of the drain and depression, you got to start taking care of yourself. You got to wake up every morning and go do this practice. Start taking care of yourself. Take care of your health. Get rid of that energy. You're depressed and you're drained because your energy is really low and you're carrying all this tension and you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like going to work. I know you don't feel like waking up and doing any type of practice. You don't feel like doing anything. Well, here's why I'm telling you. You don't listen to what your body feels like. You know what you need to do, and then you get your body and you go and do it. And you do the best that you can. If you can't do 60 minutes, so be it. You do 7 minutes, you do 5 minutes, you just do something. You do it every single day, and you will start to recondition your body to feel like taking care of yourself. And you would recondition your body to not be depressed. And that drain will turn into energy. but it takes you having to go and do it. You got to go ahead and actually do it. That will help with that. And then find your exit. Find your exit and figure out what's the job you can get into. And just remember, this could be just the next job. It doesn't have to be the job. You may just find a next job just so you're able to have some type of income. It takes like 3 weeks to get a paycheck, right? So get out somewhere. Start to look for all these opportunities. So many opportunities now to make money online. Making money online is just booming through the roof, especially in the pandemic and what we're going through. So there's tons of opportunities to be able to do it. It's gonna take the effort, but you can do it because you don't want to live life feeling drained and depressed. That's just not the way to live. And do it while you still have the energy. And what I mean is, if you don't do it, that drained, depressed is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay. And you don't want to go ahead and keep waiting until things get really, really bad. There's a lot of people, they wait until something is totally forcing them to do it because it got that bad. Something in their health, their mental thing breakdown got really bad. Don't wait for that. Come up with the reason. Imagine yourself. Imagine yourself. I'm going to do this, okay? Here's what you do. You do this practice. Do this practice every single day. You close your eyes, and then you imagine. Imagine what you're doing in the hospital every single day. Imagine like the stress and the drain. Imagine like how you don't feel like doing these things. You see how that feels. It's like, oh. Now, then afterwards, go and do some practice. Go and breathe. Do some movements, okay? Go ahead and clear the energy. And then now sit back down and then imagine. Now imagine your life having something new. Imagine life feeling free. Imagine life feeling good. Doing something that you're happy about. Doing something that you're actually passionate about. Envision that, and envision it, and envision it. See it, And afterwards, go and clear your energy again. Breathe, stretch, move. Spend time being in your mind to envision this. Once you imagine, you can see this is what I want. You can kind of feel it, and now you want to practice feeling what it is that you actually want. You want to practice envisioning what it is that you want. Envision as it's happening. Envision how you're happy now with your friends. Envision how you're happy with your family. Envision how you come home, you're so relaxed. Envision the new thing that you're doing. Envision your bank account growing. Envision you becoming just more happier, more brighter, having more energy. Envision that in your mind. And every time between doing that, go and move your energy. Breathe, shake. There's all these moves that we do in flow practice. There's different moves. Find the moves that feel good. Spend a few minutes doing that, and then afterwards, come back down, sit down, close your eyes, and then go and envision it again. And you keep doing it. Keep doing it until that vision, until you start to change your energy and you start to imprint this new vision into your mind. Because you have to first create it into your mind before it manifests into your reality. If you don't do that, you're just kind of lost. But when you envision it in your mind and you know how it feels like, you may not know exactly what it is. You may not know exactly the person to talk to, all these things, but you know what it feels like. And you now have experienced it in your mind already. So that when you know what it feels like and you experienced it, you're now able to bring the opportunity to you. Now this is what we call law of attraction. Here's how you attract these opportunities, to attract the right people and the right opportunities to go ahead and move on from it. You do that and this will happen much, much, much faster. It doesn't have to be a super long thing. You don't have to be constantly just job hunting. Do what you know, but do this also, and everything will be amplified, the speed in which you make this change. So. Kashif Javad asks, do you have some techniques to help calm the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight? Yes, do this flow practice. Okay, do this flow practice and it would offset that. The flow practice is designed to basically do that. Okay, designed to get rid of the sympathetic, turn it off. It turns it off because, see, when it's turned on, what happens is our adrenaline is turned on. what happened is there's this sense of unease inside. There's a sense of tension in the body. Our mind is not able to focus. It's kind of scattered because it's always in defense. It's always aware of fear. So when we calm down the body will switch from sympathetic to parasympathetic, be able to relax. And now the body can recover. Now the body can be able to digest the food. It can actually rejuvenate the body. If you're like that, there's always a sense of unease. And I know how it feels. Because, when it happens for me and I'm connected to it, I'm like, oh man, I feel it. I'm off, because the sympathetic is firing, constantly firing. Do this practice every single morning. Okay. Do this 60-minute version if you're really serious on doing it, on clearing it very quickly. And in the beginning, what's going to happen is your body is conditioned to feeling that way. So after the practice, you're going to feel really good. You're like, it's like just this nice calmness. You don't have to do it well. It's not about doing this practice well. People ask, Mike, what happens if I can't do the push-ups? Or Mike, what if I can't do that move? Then skip it. Or just do what you can. It's not about doing it well. It's about just doing it. And then as you do it, you get better at it, and then you start to do it well. But don't worry about how you do it. It doesn't matter. I purposely made it that simple. You can't mess up. That's the thing. Some things like, all right, you need me to instruct you. You gotta have bad form, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't need that. You don't need any of that. You can't mess this up. You hear what I'm saying? You can't mess up this practice. Just do it. Just do it the best you can. Okay. Whatever you can't do, skip it. Do this every day. What's going to happen is that you are conditioning your body to a new default state. Right now, there's a good chance your body's in a default state of sympathetic, which means you're in a default state of fight or flight, which means your default state of energy is adrenaline. Okay. So when you do this practice, you're going to be able to relax. You're not going to stay that way for too long. You'll stay that way for some, and then it fires back into regular. You start living your life. You start thinking the same way. Boom, boom, boom. It starts to happen. You start to feel it again. But the next morning you wake up and you do it again, and you keep doing it. And every time when you do this practice, you are getting your body to let go of the accumulated tension, because your tension has built up for a little while. Okay, it's built up for a little while, and imagine like a container. This is the amount of tension. Every day when you do the practice, you reduce it a little bit. Reduce it, reduce it, reduce it, reduce it, reduce it. And you keep dropping it down. And at some point, when you drop down all of the accumulated tension, you're now able to just stay relaxed as a default state, as your normal state of being. When this happens, you also learn how to stop new tension from accumulating, new stress from accumulating. Because we have to do two things. We have to get rid of the old stuff, and we also have to prevent new stuff. Both is very important. If we just get rid of the old stuff and the new stuff keeps tacking on, it's like, doesn't work that well. But that will start to happen because you'll start to become less reactive with new things that are happening. As you do the practice, you'll learn how to not judge. You'll learn how to not compete and compare. You'll learn how to be able to relax your body. And then when new stress happens, and happens on the spot, and you feel your body tense up, and you feel your stomach tense up, you feel yourself holding your breath, you realize, you are aware that's happening because you are more aware now of your body. Now you can just relax. Now you know you're connected to your body now. You just drop it. Something that you would have held on to, and then that holding on to it becomes accumulated stress and tension or flat on. You drop it on the spot, and boom, your system turned on for a second to sympathetic, and then it turned right back off. And now it's back into parasympathetic. Now you're relaxed again. You can do that. So that's what it takes every single day. And you'll condition your body. You're literally getting your body used to being in a new state. It's just the same way like how your body got into the sympathetic state. It's the same idea. You got stressed, but you didn't let it go fully. This happens to everybody. We get stressed, we get angry and all this stuff. Just because we stop thinking about it doesn't mean that our body let it go. Our body's still holding on to it, but we don't know because we're not connected to our body. We're not feeling the body. If you're not feeling the body, then how do you know if you're tense? You don't even feel the tense. So what happens? The tenseness is there, but we don't feel it. We're just angry in our head, da, 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 da. And later on we go, I'm gonna stop thinking about it. But our body is still tense. Our body is still reacting. Our body is like still, But our mind's not thinking, it's going somewhere else now. But now our body still holds on to it. And doesn't hold on to the whole thing. Let's say you get tense, it's 100%, and then you drop it down. And then now you only hold on to maybe 5%. You can't really tell, it's so subtle. So it's no big deal. But that little 5% accumulated over years and years and years. And people don't know how to let go in their body. Nobody's taught them. We don't learn this in school. This is not something, this is just something that's, somebody has to do research. They have to actually jump in and learn because it's not even talked about enough, not yet. But it is happening much more now. So we're in a different world now. It's happening more so than anywhere else. And so now we know how to let it go. So we don't build up on it. And that's what happens with everybody. That's why most people's sympathetic is turned on. So you're not the only one. Most people is like that. So they don't know how to turn off. So you know what they depend on? They depend on smoking, drinking. They depend on popping a whole bunch of pills. They depend on all kinds of stuff to try to get them to relax. And the people that aren't doing those things to relax, they're just not even focused on their body. They're not connected to their body because when they connect to it, there's so much pain and discomfort. Now they're just bringing their attention to everything else, So that's how you turn it off. You got to go ahead and just get your body used to being relaxed by doing the practice. And every time you do, your body's conditioned a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And your body will eventually get used to the new state of being, which is to be relaxed, to be calm, and to have inner peace. And therefore now your parasympathetic would become the new default state, like how it should be, like how all the animals and all the living things out there, that's how they are. They're all like that except for us and the animals and the living beings that are connected to us, Okay, so scrolling down here. All right, fit for acting, Ronaldo, much love from LA. Thanks, brother. Sherry asks, how do I get over a craving for a certain Sherry asks, how do I get over a craving for a certain taste? Hamtramck girl in too much pain. Not eating meat now, but sometimes having cravings for meat, and I haven't had it in a long time. How do you get over the craving? How do you get over the craving? Well, let me tell you. Let me share something. I have cravings sometimes for meat. Yeah, I haven't eaten meat now. Let me tell you. Let me share something. I have cravings sometimes for meat. Yeah, I haven't eaten meat now for. No. I've sometimes on flights. Sometimes when I'm in the air, I don't fly that often, but when I do fly, sometimes all they have is some type of meat dish. So then I eat it. It's not like a religion. It's just by not bringing your attention to meat will help you get rid of the cravings. But the idea is it's not the goal is not to not have cravings. To not have cravings happen naturally. The goal is to be okay with the cravings. Okay, it's a little different. It's like somebody who's in so much pain and they don't want to have any pain anymore. What do? Well, you can do all these things to try to prevent the pain, but you're not going to prevent pain forever. Pain will eventually come. The thing is to be okay be okay with the pain. And when it comes, we are okay. It's like, how do you get away? There will be some negative people around sometimes. It's just how it is. But we don't try to, but the goal is to know how to be okay with it, how to be okay with the craving, how to be okay with when pain happens. We stop our reaction. We stop our reaction to the craving. So we have the craving for meat. We want to eat it. But then we know why we don't. So then we are in control of our body, even though the craving is there. Just like we feel pain. Oh, you feel the pain in your body. And somebody who doesn't have control will yell, complain, scream. Maybe they'll get upset, they get angry, you know? Then somebody who has control, they feel the pain and they breathe, they relax. Okay. And even though they're still in pain, but they are not reacting to the pain. You know, we start to learn how to create distance between the sensations of our body, the sensations, the five senses, sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch. When a person is totally controlled by their senses, then what happens is our body is controlling us and we are not in control. You know, if I don't want to go and eat this thing, but I smell this thing and I'm like, oh my God, it smells so good. And I'm reacting to the smell, you know, and then I taste a little bit of it and I'm reacting to this taste and I can't control myself, you know, or I don't want to go and do this activity, but this activity feels so good and I can't, and my reaction is to go and do it because I'm so attached to all of these senses. When we look at these senses, when we're aware of these senses, when we're aware of it, just by being aware of it, we become the watcher. We become the observer that is viewing the senses. We are looking at the senses. We are observing the senses. We are observing the taste. We are observing the feeling. So, you know, when we start to watch things, we start to create this separation. We start to create this space between things that are happening, that the experience that we're happening with our body, and us that is sitting there in the driver's seat that is making a decision on what to do. If this doesn't happen, then what happens is whatever's happening with our body, we just do. We do. And we're not, therefore we are reacting. We are not choosing, consciously choosing. When we create the space, now something happens, but we are not reacting. We make a conscious choice. And if we're constantly choosing to do it this way, then whatever happens, we're still gonna do it this way, regardless of what's happening. But if we're not creating this conscious choice, if we're not creating enough space, then things happen and we react to it because things happen and we experience it all through our body. We experience it all through one of our senses. And then we always react to our senses and we never can choose. Well, now we're always being dictated. And now we have to try to control everything on the outside. We have to control other people because we can't control ourselves. So we start to learn how to create space. And by creating space, we learn how to control our body, control these senses. Creating space means we are aware of it. We are aware of this pain. I'm aware of this taste. I'm aware of this sound. I'm aware of this smell. I'm aware of what I'm seeing. You know, I'm aware of what I'm thinking. And this goes especially for our head. I'm aware of this thought. I'm aware of this image. That doesn't mean I need to act on it. Doesn't mean I need to make decisions or choices on it. It just simply means I'm aware of it. And by being aware of it, now we don't react. And we can make a conscious decision on what to do. All right. Ali Show. Hello. Okay. All right. Willie Crooks asked a great question. How do you stay committed to better health when you don't see quick results? Don't have expectations for the quick results, and then therefore you can stay committed. Having expectations for quick results is the number one thing that gets people to fail. It gets people to fail if you are working out. It gets people to fail if you're in business. It gets people to fail because they have false expectations. You see, it's not that we're doing something wrong. You take a beginner and you go, beginner's doing it wrong. No, a beginner's doing it right. It's just that it's a beginner. They're supposed to make the mistakes. They're a beginner. That's how people learn. No beginner doesn't make mistakes and then they act like a person who's been doing it for a long time. It's not like that, right? They make mistakes. But the problem is that people are making expectations that are wrong, expectations that are incorrect. So how can somebody make an expectation that's correct? Because that premise means they gotta know what they're doing. They gotta know they gotta done it before. So this way they can make an expectation that's actually correct. Well, you can either, number one, do a lot of studying, do a lot of work, do a lot of analyzation and contemplating and planning and do all this stuff so you can go ahead and understand the whole process and you can make the best expectations on what you'll be expecting and what your results might be. You can go and find some experts and let them take a look at what you're doing and find out from them. But then, this expert will need to know all of your skill sets and how much time you're going to spend in it and your whole life and scenario. Or you can have an idea of what it is you want to create and be okay with whatever happens. Be okay with whatever happens. You don't grasp onto the expectation. You don't hold on to it like it's so important. You're okay. I know I'm going to shoot this way. I know I'm probably going to create something like this, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Now, when we do it, we just focus on the doing part. We don't focus so much on the what happens. And we start to practice on just doing it. See, going back into this, going quickly, better health. So now let's take it back to better health. That was like very general. So specifically better health. Better health is very easy. And here's why I say it's easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Simple because you just do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and you get better health. It's not easy because you got to do things over and over again. You got to have patience. You got to have discipline. You got to have structure. You got to have these things, but it's simple. When you go ahead and when you want to see all these results, the way you do it is you just focus on doing the same thing over and over, the same things that are very, very effective. When people are doing flow training, they are doing the same practice over and over. And they ask me these questions all the time. And I just tell them, just do the practice over again, keep doing it. And what's going to happen is your body will naturally progress. You can't stop your body from progressing. You can't stop your body from getting stronger at doing push-ups if you do push-ups every day. You can't stop your body from getting better at running if you go run every day. You can't stop yourself from getting better at meditation if you sit there and meditate every day. You can't. You can try, but you won't be able to. Your body would adjust and it will change according to the stimuli, according to your actions. So all you have to do is just do the work, But what happens is we do the work and every time in our mind, we are comparing. So one of the principles I teach is no judgment, comparing, or competing. And this is I teach 7 principles, the main ones, because these 7, I didn't want to create so many. I want to find the ones that are the most important, but this 7 is really, really powerful. This particular one, no judgments, competing, or comparing. When we are wanting quick results, what is determining quick results? It's because we read somewhere, we saw somebody doing something and we had this expectation. We want to do it just like them. Or maybe we just made it up in our head. So now we are competing, we are comparing, we are creating these expectations. But why do we want to have quick results to even start off with? We look at the basis of it. Well, because what we really want is we want quick change. Why do we want really quick change? Because we are not okay with the way we are now, right? So you want quick change because right now you're not okay with it. So that's why you want to have quick results. I'm not okay with how things are right so I want quick results. So this way I want quick change. So this way I can change something here. So the ultimate thing in that is we're just not okay with the way we are now. Because we're okay with the way we are now, then we don't care about quick results. We know we're going to get the results, It's not rocket science when someone says, hey, just do the work and you'll get the results. Right, yes, everybody agrees. But what it really is that we are not okay with the way we are now. So when we become okay with the way we are now we don't long for the quick results. We know results are going to come, but we don't care how long it takes now. We are okay with the way we are now. We are okay. You are okay with who you are now. You're okay with the way you look now. You're okay with it. You have a sense of peace with it will come. But whether or not they're quick or they're slow doesn't matter. Because sometimes the results will be quick. If you jumped on earlier, I was talking about the story of my mom. 3 weeks. I mean, God, Leo's quick, And I'm sure you're in better health than she is. Pretty much everybody's in better health. But it can be really quick. It's not the point, It's not the point. So just do that. Accept the way you are right now. Accept your health the way you are right now. Okay, accept your health and accept how it is. And just know that put your attention. Because see, when we don't accept the way we are now, you know what? Our attention, our energy is focused on ourselves not being good enough. And we start to compare ourselves with other people because we're not happy. I want to be like this person. I want to be like this one. I want to look like this person. I want to have what this person has. And our energy is constantly being drained doing all that stuff. But once we are okay with ourselves, we accept who we are, we accept how we look. Now our energy doesn't have to be drained in that anymore. Now our energy can just go to the specific task. It is not drained competing and comparing and analyzing and judging. So that's something we practice. We practice it every single morning when we do the practice. So when you're practicing, let's say you're practicing and let's say you're doing burpees. If somebody was judging themselves, they're like, oh my God, yesterday I was doing the burpees better. Let's say I'm competing. That means I'm competing. I'm competing against myself. God, I was so strong yesterday. God, today it feels so hard. I feel so heavy. Oh my God, what's wrong? I can't do this. Oh my God, now pike push-up. I can't even barely do any. I should just quit. All of these things are just unnecessary energy drains. But when we practice not competing and judging and not comparing and just being okay with whatever happens, the same thing is still happening in the way that we do the exercises, the same thing, but we're just okay with it. You're doing the burpees and you're aware, can't push up, can't jump up. You're doing your pike, same thing, have no rep. What do? You're okay. You just do a rep. Can't do that. Okay, so you just hold it here. Maybe I can hold it here. Maybe I can go a little halfway. You just start to focus on what you can do. And let's say you can't do a single rep. Let's say worst case scenario, you can't do a rep. Okay, so let me just sit down. Maybe I can start off some squats early. Can I do push-ups? Maybe I just do some push-ups. And maybe I just skip altogether and just wait till the next exercise. And then I just go into the next one. You see? We start to direct our energy into what we need to do, and we don't burn our energy doing all this other stuff. That's the power of that. Okay? And that's the way you go ahead and overcome the need for quick results. Vincent asked, hey Mike, do you practice gratitude by journaling, praying, etc.? What would be your number one tip for practicing gratitude? It's a good question. So there's different ways to practice it. I think every person, depending on what works, let's say it like that, what works for them. For some people, they like to write, so journaling is perfect. For some people, they like to share. They like to speak it out loud. Hey, friend, I just want to call you and tell you I'm so grateful for you, man. I'm so happy, and I'm just so grateful for all the things that you've done to me. They'd like to share that way, so they can practice that way. You know, I don't have a lot of different tips, but I can tell you that there are finding gratitude tips. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but there's not one that is good for every person. It's just every person is a little bit different. But practicing gratitude is very important. It's very powerful. But how we do it is really up to you. It's what works. I do want to say, whatever tip or whatever way that you practice gratitude, it has to work. And when it works, that means you feel gratitude. That means you are realizing the gratitude. You can experience gratefulness. There's different ways to get there, but no matter way you take, it still has to get to the same place. And the same place is you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You have to feel gratitude. And if you're only thinking about gratitude, that's not enough. You got to feel it. You know, that's the most important. What I do is I look at something and I go right into experiencing, like, I'm grateful for what it is that I'm seeing. I've been practicing, the way I do it is a little bit different, you know, that's why I realized, that's why I'm sharing this. Everybody's a little bit different. I used to have this memorandum. I called it a memorandum. You know, it's like start off with a paragraph and then eventually became 3 pages. And I used to read it every single day, 3 times a day, up to 5 times a day. And it became 3 pages, and every single day I would read it. And after a couple of weeks, I memorized it, and I would just verbatimly speak it out loud 3 times a day at least. And I did this for maybe about 6, 7 months, you know. And then before that, I was reading this book called The Greatest Salesman by Og Medino, you know, and it had the same style, 10 scrolls. Each scroll, you read it for 30 days. And it's like a teaching. It's about 6 pages, really short. It takes about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on your speed of reading. And it was to imprint certain ideas, certain information to my head, and some things about being grateful for certain things, and certain things about everything else. So that's what I did, and that's how I was training myself on becoming more grateful, or becoming more thankful, or appreciating things. I talked about being grateful to be alive. I talked about being grateful to have limbs and have arms and have being able to breathe, have this space, have this home. You know, having food, having friends, you know, I talked about these things. And that worked for me at that time. Now I just look and I just go right into feeling. I tap right into the feeling of gratefulness. And so it's different now, you know. And so whatever works for you. You know? But the point though is you have to, at the end, no matter what you're doing, at the end, you have to feel the gratefulness. And also one other thing is, if you don't feel it right away, it's okay. Sometimes we practice maybe thinking about it for a while because we're not yet fully connected to that energy, to that emotion, which is energy. Emotion is energy in motion. You're not fully connected to it, so then you're not able to feel it, you know, and it's okay. You just keep on doing it. You just keep on doing it, keep on doing it. If that means you have to rehearse it in your mind or read something or write, whatever it is, keep doing that. And then keep knowing that your result is to be able to feel it in your body. So don't give up. It's not that your method you're doing is wrong, you know. You just have to do it longer and longer. Now, a way to speeding this up is to go ahead and do the practice. When you do the flow practice, you connect to your body. And when you connect to your body, you're able to feel. And when you're able to feel, now you combine that with the grateful journaling or reading or whatever it is. And now those two gel together. Okay. Ultimately, at the end, we want to be able to connect it to the way we connect it to our body and connect it to the capability to be able to feel, experience our emotions, connect to the sensations of our body. And that combined with a positive mind, good thinking, you know, those two things are necessary. If we only have one and not the other, we're still missing out on a huge thing. You know? But the end result is feeling that gratefulness, because feeling it is when it's actually real. If it's in our mind, we can think all day long about things, but we're not experiencing it. We experience things through our body because you can't point to your mind. Your mind isn't existing here in this physical dimension, this physical place. Only your body is. Okay, that's why you can't ever point to your mind, but you can touch your body. Only your body's here. Your body is present. And have you just read, this comment just jumped. Have you read the Tao Te Ching? And if so, what do you think of it? Haven't read it yet. So can't share anything on that besides the fact that I heard it is very, very, very good. Very good book. I had the book. It was one of the books that that's still in Austin. I donated it to my friend to store and create like a library out of boxes and boxes of books. But no, I haven't read it. I heard it's really good though. Okay, so Ralph Maplee, Goltsu. Hello, my friend. My name is Raphael. I'm from Greece. I'm trying to be positive all the time, Mike. I'm trying to smile in all difficulties that life brings to me, but this makes me even more angry. Okay, so I understand. It's because you're not happy. You're not happy, and you're trying to show that you're happy, but you're not happy. You're not. You want to be positive, but inside your mind, you're thinking and you're aware of negativity. You're aware of the bad things. So that's what's happening, and you're angry because you aren't able to let it out. And it's like boiling up. It's like you're upset, but you don't get to release it. And you try to show like, hey, I'm good. But the upsetness is like boiling and boiling. And at some point you're like happy. And you're like, I'm stop. I'm just tired of it all. So many people are like, what? If they're around, right? So all this, what's actually happening is that, your energy inside is not being released. You're upset. You're angry about certain things, but you're not able to let it go. And you want to be positive and you're trying to show it, but you can only show for so long. And behind closed doors, you're mad. What you want to do is you want to release that anger. Okay. You want to release the anger. So this way you're not letting it build up. You can practice being positive. You can practice smiling. It's really good. You condition your body to learn how to smile. You just kind of smile, but you don't want to hold on to that anger, because then those two things collide. You're not able to really be yourself, and that just makes you more angrier. So you got to release the anger. The way you release the anger, two things. Number one, release in your body. Okay, when you're angry, you're tense. When you're angry, you're tense. You tense up in different places. Release that tension by relaxing and being calm. Breathe, stretch, do the practice. Do flow practice. Okay, that will release it. I used to be a very, very, very angry person. Okay, but you don't know that. And if you watch my old videos, right, I've got hundreds and hundreds on YouTube, 6-pack shortcuts, you wouldn't know that either, right? But behind closed doors, I was like a very angry person. Still angry. I would get mad in a conversation, grab a chair and break it on the ground. Real talk. Yeah, I would go and punch everything. So I know how you feel. All right. These, when you're angry, you're tense. Practice relaxing your body. Practice releasing the tension. When you get angry, release it on the spot. Don't carry it. Don't hold on to it. Don't get in your head. That's going to happen. Just remember, okay? You have to remember it when you're not angry. Okay, so you got to get very familiar with what you need to do. And you got to practice this when you're not angry. So this way, when you're angry, you're not having to go and try to think on the spot. You can't think on the spot when you're angry because you're angry. You can only figure this out. You can only know and practice what to do when you're not in that state. Okay, so here's what you do. Okay, practices. This is why you do the practice every single morning. So you practice letting go in your body. So this way, when it's go time, when it's show time and you're mad, boom, you let it go. So when you're doing your practice, that's where you're relaxing. That's where you're stretching. You're getting your body to know how to relax. So then now, boom, oh, I'm so angry. But you're like, oh, your body knows how to relax. So you go, I need to relax. You breathe out, exhale, you drop your body down. Okay. And you start to relax your body. But now your head is still mad, but it's dropping down because of the feedback loop between your body and your mind. When you're angry, your energy of anger is there. And this energy of anger, this emotion of anger, triggers more thoughts of anger, stories of anger, perceptions of anger, and all of this creates more emotion of anger, and it just keeps going back and forth in the loop. So when you let go in your body and you relax in your body and you let go of that emotion of anger and that feeling of anger and that tension of anger, you don't have anything to fuel those thoughts. And those thoughts will still be there, but they lost its power. They lost the energy to move it forward. So the intensity of the angry thoughts starts to drop down. Now at that point, it's still there. It tries to come in again. So you feel it more in your body. You relax it again. So now it doesn't fuel back up. You are fueling into your mind relaxation. Your mind tries to fuel anger, and then your body gives your mind relaxation. That's how you start to change the angry thoughts. Now that's just on the body. Now that combined with practices that you do with your mind when you're not angry, normal basis. So now when the angry thoughts come, you are familiar with certain ways of thinking. You're familiar with certain things of what to do. Okay, let me share a couple with you now. All right, so here's number one. Number one, nobody makes you mad but yourself. Okay, all feelings are within us. Everything triggers it. This person triggers it. This situation triggers it. But they are triggering what is inside of us. And if we don't have it inside of us, there's nothing to trigger. So we are responsible. We take responsibility 100% of our feeling, of the way we feel. That's number one. Why is this important? This is important because when we take responsibility now, we are accepting that we have the ability to change it. When we don't take responsibility, we're saying, I can't do anything about it. I'm a victim. I'm powerless. I can't do anything about it. You have to change. If you don't change, I'm stuck. When we see it in that way and we think that is true, now we are constantly helpless victims that are begging and pleading other people to change their ways because we are being hurt so much. But when we realize that we are feeling this and we can let it go and people can be themselves and they can be whatever they want to be. And I have the ability to just walk away if I don't like you, you know, I can stop listening. I can direct my attention somewhere else, you know. We have the ability to also let it go on the spot. So that's the first thing, is you realizing we are responsible for all of our feelings and all of our emotions. It's not anybody else's fault. They are the trigger. That is what it is. And we want to go and let go of those triggers. Get away from those triggers the best we can, which is now number two. Get away from those triggers. Okay. We know that we're responsible for everything, but we don't want to make it that hard. It's already hard enough to go ahead and be peaceful and positive and happy all the time. So let's go ahead and make our life easier by looking around and seeing what's constantly triggering us. Who's the people, who's the environments, what's the things? What things can we get rid of and what things can we not? Now we do our best, we make our changes. And then we got some changes that we can't do right now that takes money, resources, time in the future to do it. But there are some changes that you can do. There always is things that you can do right now. And you do them right now. You don't wait. Right now, you make the changes. So now you got rid of some things around that is triggering your anger. That's triggering these low emotions. Third thing, what are you doing every day to get yourself to feel something different? If we don't want to feel mad, we don't want to feel angry, well, what do we want to feel? If we don't replace it with something, then by default, we got to feel something. We're always feeling something. There's always some type of energy inside. So what is that energy going to be? If we don't replace it with something, then by default, it's going to be the old thing. So what do we do to replace it? Get yourself to feel good. Number one, do your morning practice. That will help you feel good. Meditate, stretch, move your body, strengthen your body, loosen up your body, breathe, massage yourself, tap massage. Get yourself to feel good. Number two, what activities are you doing every day that you enjoy that's making yourself feel good? That doesn't have negative effects. That's key. That's very important. Okay. Doesn't have negative effects. If you like to go out and eat ice cream, so do I. So kind of has negative effects. You know why I was bloated this morning? Because I ate a whole pint of vegan mint chocolate ice cream yesterday. It was so good. It was for lunch, and then I was bloated and gas throughout the rest of the night. What are you doing for yourself that feels good for you? Okay, whatever it is for you, make sure it doesn't have negative effects, and be real. Be real with it. You know, if it has negative effects, it is what it is. If it's a huge negative effect, you might want to stay away from it. You know, if it's a small negative effect, use your best judgment. But how often are you doing that? Do that. Okay, so that's number three. Do your morning practice to get yourself to feel good so you can let go of all that stuff, let go of any anger and negative emotions, and pick some activities, one or more activities that you can do. Not in the future, right now. The things that you have right now, the resources, the tools, the devices, whatever it is that you have right now. And the answer is, I don't know what to do. I don't do anything that really makes me feel good. Okay, well, now you got some homework. Now you know what you need to go and find out, you know. Oh, I don't have time to find out. Okay, great. You don't have time to find out. Okay, so then that means you should, every second of your time, every moment of your time is spent doing whatever is needed. And nothing is spent doing unnecessary things, right? So now when we look at your time, you realize what's really, 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 really needed. You know, maybe your work is needed. What's everything else? What's more important than your state of being, than your state of mind, than your emotions, the way you feel? You know, hang out with your friends or watching this movie or watching a show or just chilling, relaxing, none of those things, right? Now you got the time. Now you can figure out and do that activity that makes you feel good. You know, those three things. All right. Good question, man. Good question, Raphael. Okay, Lucius, how do you, Luciuski, how do you heal inflammation in your gut and food allergies? That's a good one. I'm not the best at the medical stuff, to be honest with you. You know, I'm not the best with it. But I can share with you something I would do. Inflammation. So let's look at what inflammation is. Your body is swollen. Your body is inflamed. So inflammation comes from a lot of spaces, a lot of stuff. How do you get rid of inflammation and food allergies? Well, here's some tips. And again, I'm not an expert in this, so you want to dive in. But here are some things that would start to help out. Some things that you can try immediately. And at the end, you want to try to see the results. Change what you're eating and stop eating things that are heavily seasoned foods. That means pretty much start to learn how to cook if you don't know how to cook. If you do know how to cook, start cooking at home. So you know what things you're putting into your food. Keep your food as simple as you can. Make sure you enjoy it. But have a balance between what you enjoy and the simplicity of it. Sometimes people put so many different things in their food, and all these things in their food, when it goes into our stomach has to digest it all. We need all the enzymes to digest it all. And if that's just coming from one thing, and then somebody eats 5, 6, 7 different things because someone needs to have appetizer and main course and dessert and a drink, you have like 4 different items, and this drink is in water. So 4 different items all mixing in together in this crazy chemical pot. And all that's in your stomach. And our stomach has to go and try to break it all down. And it's not the same 4 things every time. It's different all the time. So where does our body come up with the ability to go and digest all of that? So what happens? Our body gets inflamed. Our body can't get rid of it, can't digest these things. So simplify your eating. Simplify your eating. Stop mixing so many different things together. Stop mixing also liquid. Don't mix liquid with your food. You want your digestion to increase. When you drink any liquid with food, you kill the digestive fire. You think about like your stomach like being acidic, right? It's acidic, so it can break down the food, digest and break down. But when you add water into this acidic, you make it less acidic. I don't know if acidic is the right word. You make it like a watery, muddy thing, okay? It needs to be able to break it down without being watered down. The water down kills your digestive fire, basically. So what do? You drink water way before you eat. Like give it at least 30 minutes or way after you eat, at least 30 minutes to an hour. There's plenty of other times, to drink water and to drink liquids, but not doing food, okay? That would help with general digestion. But specific things on allergies and inflammations, you want to look more into that. But that's something that you can do right away as you are learning more about that. And Juju Magic 8, Mike, I love your ideas. Full practice is on point. Are you familiar with Ido Portal's work? Yes, familiar with it. Love his work. He's put movement on the map. And when I listen to his talks and to his teachings, it's very similar. There's similarity, a lot of similarity. He's basically using movement as one of the end results is you get really fluid with your movements, right? Get really fluid and you start to break all the boundaries of movement, boundaries of the physical body. And that's like the end result. And one of the effects is it changes your mind, changes the way you think, changes the way you look at things, increase your presence and all this stuff. The structures of your mind starts to expand. What flow practice does is we use the movements to go ahead and expand the mind. So the end result is our mind expands, our consciousness expands. We break all the different barriers and we be able to see outside the box. We get to see ourselves. We get to raise our level of consciousness. Our movement gets better as a result. But the goal here is to expand our mind, expand our energy. So very similar. Ido's is more based on progressing in movement, which is something you can see. Mine is more based on progressing in mind, progressing in consciousness. But in reality, they're both very similar. The ideologies I don't feel like they collide much. Like they're not resisting one another. Very, very similar. But love the work. It's very, very, very inspiring. Such awesome moves and showing the abilities of the body. And some of the philosophy, one of the philosophies I really like is that there's not a wrong way to move. And I love that. And I learned that from Ido. There's no wrong way to move. You know how like exercise, people are like, you're doing squats wrong, you're doing this wrong, you got to do it this way and this way and this way. Says who? Says if you want to create that specific result. But if you don't care about creating that specific result, then that way of doing it doesn't matter. Then you do it another way. Hey, you're not speaking right. You have to speak in this way, using these words with this tone. Yes, if you want to create a certain result, but if you're not looking for that result, then you speak it in another way. Hey, hon.
Hey, hon. It's
Time for birthday surprise?
Yeah.
Okay, come here. All right, guys. So it's only been.
I need to take him with me now.
Okay, so hey guys, I would be sitting here. It's 2 hours. I haven't even ate breakfast yet. It's 4:38. Who cares? I'm just chatting with you guys. Woohoo! But I have to go because my wife calls.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So that's it for today. Saved by Natalia. So thank you guys so much for joining in, asking these awesome questions. I answered as many as I can, but I love this. Let me know if you like more of these Q&As. Very open. Let's just chat. Let's have a discussion. And guys, if you enjoy this type of interaction, you enjoy these type of topics, you want to dive more into this, join my group online. Okay. Go to flowtribe.us. We do this twice a week. twice a week. We train and then we go into discussions. We go into discussions on all kinds of topics. All right. So I'll put the links in here under the video. And all right. So my birthday day continues. I don't know what's next. Where are we going?
We'll see.
Surprise.
First sunset.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So love you guys. Have a great, wonderful rest of the day. All right.